The first day of school is right around the corner for JCPS students, and parents are still planning their child's transportation thanks to those new changes to the JCPS bus plan. It's our top story tonight on the night team. I'm Connie Leonard in for Doug. WHAS 11's Alexandra Goldberg and photojournalist Aspen Hester spoke with parents in downtown Louisville tonight about the upcoming school year.
I don't want him on the bus for an hour and a half. That seems crazy.
It's the last weekend of summer for JCPS parents, and while students are preparing to go to school, parents are figuring out how to get them there.
Our neighborhood bus pickup would be at 5:49 a.m. and I'm not putting my 6-year-old off the bus before 6 o'clock in the morning.
Nikki Harvey is a mother of two. Her daughter is going into first grade and her son is in preschool. Her daughter will only take the bus home.
I'm a little disappointed that the bus comes so early because I have to drop my son off in the same area an hour and a half later.
Ivy Sowell says her son is going to a magnet school. Most magnet and traditional schools lost transportation for this school year under the JCPS new transportation plan.
It's not an issue for us, but I understand that it is an issue for a lot of other people, and I wish there was a solution for those that do have trouble.
The first day of school for JCPS students is August 8th, just 6 days away.
I am excited for him. Yeah, he's going to be going to a new school this year, so we're excited.
We're excited to know where she's going this year and not have to worry and wonder what school she'll get into.
JCPS is also gearing up, assisting parents with transportation questions through their hotline number that opened for calls last week.
So we're getting a lot of calls now that buses have been assigned of how do I find my bus information. So people here are actually taking those calls, encouraging families to pull their computer out and get on Bus Teller with them.
Rachel Droz of JCPS says agents have fielded about 4,000 calls from parents and guardians. That hotline, 485-RIDE, will be open for calls 2 weeks past the start of school for parents to ask transportation questions or make requests. In Louisville, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
That transportation plan is being argued in court as 5 parents are suing the district, claiming the plan violates their civil rights. Today, federal judge Rebecca Grady Jennings heard arguments for a temporary injunction to stop the plan. Now, parents of 5 black students are arguing the plan to cut transportation to most magnet and traditional schools disproportionately impacts minority students. Superintendent Dr. Marty Polio took the stand and was careful to say students in poverty may be affected, but said nothing about race.
There's no doubt about it. It was a difficult decision, but we have to get kids to school on time. And right now, for the first time in several years, we are right at the number of bus drivers and routes.
And none of us here, whether me or my clients, believe that only anybody else other than African American students are disproportionately affected by the denial of transportation that they've been given.
Well, the judge is considering a motion to dismiss the case, a motion on the temporary restraining order and the actual case itself. We don't expect any decisions for at least 2 weeks, which is after the first day of classes. Students at Anchorage Public Schools will head back to class 2 weeks later than planned. The school board signed off on making August 26th the new first day during a special meeting this morning. Superintendent Karen Solis made the request after mold was found in the building. To make up for the delay, the district plans on eliminating half days in the calendar. The last day of school will be May 30th. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is still on the short list to become Kamala Harris's running mate, according to 2 people with knowledge of the Harris election process. Beshear is among 6 people that will be interviewed this weekend. Harris, who just today secured enough votes to become the presidential nominee for Democrats, is expected to officially introduce her running mate Tuesday. ABC's Zoreen Shaw has more as the election approaches.
Kamala Harris making history as the first black woman and Asian American candidate to lead a major party ticket during a virtual DNC vote.
I am honored to be the presumptive Democratic nominee for President of the United States.
Harris calling in to mark the moment.
And as your future president, I know we are up to this fight. And when we fight, everyone will say in unison, we win.
It was only 12 days ago that President Biden made the announcement that he would not continue running for a second term and endorsed Harris. She now becomes the only candidate in half a century to become the nominee without a single primary vote. But national polling shows that right now she has a better chance of beating Trump than Biden did when he dropped out of the race. According to 538, she is up 1.5 points over Trump in national polls. And even within swing states, she is closing the gap that Biden had against Trump. She's pulling slightly ahead of Trump in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Those could be factors she takes into consideration when picking her running mate. Biden says he is weighing in on the talks, too.
Have you spoken to Vice President Harris about her running mate?
Yes. ABC has confirmed Arizona Senator and retired astronaut Mark Kelly, the husband of former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, also a former prosecutor like Harris. All are being vetted. Shapiro was expected to headline fundraisers in New York for Harris, now canceling his weekend plans.
Governor, do you expect Kamala Harris to ask you to run with this success here, sir?
I think that's a question for the Vice President.
Go ahead.
Are you planning on being in Philadelphia on Tuesday by chance?
I hope to be, yeah.
Harris is expected to announce who her vice president will be in the next few days. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Again, Basher is among 6 expected to be interviewed by Harris as she continues her search for number 2. The others expected to be interviewed are some that you just heard: Senator Mark Kelly and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Also included are Governors J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, Tim Walz of Minnesota, and Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro. Now, Shapiro's name is shot to the top of the list, especially after Philadelphia's mayor, Sherrell Parker, put out a video promoting a Harris-Shapiro ticket that suggested to some that Parker may have inside knowledge. However, those close with the mayor said the video was simply showing support for both Harris and Shapiro. For Basher, however, his pool with labor voters may give him an edge for the position.
A candidate like Basher, who's playing well with white working class labor voters, is key. The part of the Democratic coalition that's been slipping away most heavily over the last, let's say, decade has been the white working class.
Now, Basher was a main topic on tonight's Comment on Kentucky. Our very own Isaiah Kim Martinez joining the panel of reporters tonight and also pointing to Basher's support from labor unions, including the UAW leaders.
One of the biggest knocks on Governor Basher has been his inability to be able to carry Kentucky. But if you have some 400,000 UAW members and nearly 600,000 retired UAW workers, and they want you, could those labor unions actually motivate the ticket and bring people out? I think that's a very fair point to make.
Now, while most Democrats here in Kentucky are on board for Governor Basher, who's been pushing himself as a bipartisan governor that can work across the aisle, many Republicans would disagree.
Republicans' mind, we're getting things done with or without you. You vetoed us dozens and dozens of times, and we've still pushed through what we felt was best for the state. So now more than ever, they want to make sure that everybody knows that.
WHAS11 political reporters have contributed to Comment on Kentucky since the late 1970s. The show airs through the weekend and again Sunday at noon on KET. Louisville Metro Police are investigating after a teen was shot and then involved in a car crash. An LMPD spokesperson says officers responded to 24th and Market just after 2 this afternoon, where they found the teen with a gunshot wound to his arm and a car that had been crashed into a building. Detectives believe a family member was trying to drive the teen to the hospital when they crashed. Surveillance video from across the street shows several neighbors rushing to that car after the crash to try and offer their help.
I came out and I sat down and I looked down the street and I seen a kid come out of the car and they said he got shot. And then everybody in the neighborhood came out, to help out, to find out what happened. They helped try to stop the bleeding and stuff till the police got here, which they finally came out with good response time.
Now, the teen was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. No one else was hurt. Right now, police are trying to find out where the actual shooting happened. Anyone with information is asked to call the tip line, that number 574 LMPD. And the state is now taking a closer look at a Highlands bar liquor license, and the late night spot could end up losing it altogether. Cafe 360 made headlines earlier this year when a deadly shooting happened inside. State documents obtained by WHAS11 News say Kentucky's Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control are looking at an incident from May that involved a fight where a man drew a gun. According to the Kentucky ABC, the business failed to have on-site security or metal detecting wands, which was a violation of the agreement with Louisville Metro ABC. The president of the Highlands Commerce Guild tells us the state getting involved is not the outcome they wanted.
There are consequences, and once those lines are set up, there is no option. You either have to enforce it or have the chaos that we have had in the past. That's why it's sad. This is not a victory. It is a lack of awareness that compliance has many ways to gain.
Months ago, the city said Cafe 360 had voluntarily agreed to stop serving alcohol after 2 a.m. But later, codes and regulations proposed the business forfeit its 2 a.m. liquor license to cut off alcohol sales at midnight in an effort to prevent violence. But now the state's case takes precedence. An Indiana judge has ordered the mother of a little boy whose body was found in a suitcase to go to a psychiatric facility. Dejon Anderson is accused of killing 5-year-old Cairo Jordan and leaving his body in rural southern Indiana. According to new court documents, Judge Larry Medlock found Anderson incompetent to stand trial and ruled she could not represent herself in court. His decision comes after 2 doctors submitted competency reports last month. The judge says all future hearings will be rescheduled once Anderson completes mental health treatment and is competent to stand trial.